Hey YouTube, Untamed here. Buying a new vehicle can be a very daunting and nuanced process. If you stick with me throughout today's video, I guarantee it, you will save thousands of dollars on your next vehicle purchase. New or used, we'll talk through the different tactics to deploy on each process. I'll even talk through if you have a trade-in, how to maximize the amount that you get for your trade-in when you're trying to buy that next vehicle. Stick with me as we talk through it all. Guys, I will purposely leave the most important tips, tricks, and advice for the end of this video for you to consider that will undoubtedly save you thousands on your deal. New car sales are plummeting across the country right now, and that's largely thanks to the price tags. The national average vehicle purchase price on a new vehicle just surpassed $50,000. That does include everything: sedans, SUVs, trucks, vans, you name it. $50,000 is the new average. The average monthly payment being made on a new vehicle purchase here in 2025 is $770. When you sprinkle in the national average interest rate being 7% on a new vehicle or 11% on a used vehicle, and then you consider the fact that insurance premiums have over doubled since 2023, well, it becomes abundantly clear as to why so many people are deciding to hold off on buying a new vehicle, and that has slowed new vehicle sales down tremendously. Consequently, right now we're seeing the highest levels of auto loan delinquencies, 30-day and 60-day auto loan delinquencies within the United States, the highest that we have seen since the 08-09 recession. And by the end of the year, we're on track to surpass the 08-09 recession when it comes to that. By the end of the year, we're expecting to see 2 million vehicles repossessed. That is up about 250,000 over last year's already unprecedented growth rate over 2023. 2023, we had about 1.5 million vehicles that were repoed. 2024, about 1.75 million. And here we are, continuing that trajectory with 2 million here in 2025. I say all of that at the beginning of this video on purpose to paint a clear picture for you as to where the car market is heading into 2026. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for dealerships eager to try to sell their new vehicle inventory. So many dealerships are going to be stuck in a very sticky situation here very, very soon. They already have an abundance of unsold new inventory, old new inventory. I'm talking a lot of unsold 2024 units and, of course, 2025 units as the 26s are beginning to hit their lots. Silver lining of all this is the greedy dealerships that refuse to discount, slash prices, and offer incentivized interest rates on their vehicles to move their metal. Those dealerships are undoubtedly going to go belly up this year. They already kind of struggled through the majority of 2025 here and a portion of 2024. 2026, it's about to get worse for them. It's the good, honest dealerships that are willing to cut their losses sooner than later are the ones that are actually going to succeed in 2026. The dealerships that are willing to offer huge deals, tremendous deals, and incentivized interest rates. The dealerships that are actually going to focus on earning you as a returning customer and having that loyal relationship between the dealership and you, the consumer, having you come back to the service bay, use that service bay for maintenance regularly, and then maybe 3 to 5 years down the road, you'll be buying your next vehicle from them. So what's my credibility in this? Why should you take my word on how to negotiate a deal? For starters, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't have a book or any kind of package deal I'm trying to offer to you guys for my gain. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I personally just love following the car market at large. I love looking into it. I held a PhD in industrial and organizational psychology. I'm published in the field. I love geeking out about this stuff, doing the research, understanding why organizations and companies do what they do, the decisions that they make, and how it affects you and I, the consumer. I love looking into it. Not to mention, I did own and operate a successful nationwide auto brokerage service. I did that for quite some time. It was very successful, and well, that is a big part of why I love doing this stuff. Also, you guys have been following my channel for any length of time. You know that I've negotiated a number of deals. I'm talking a few dozen deals on my own behalf on very desirable vehicles and negotiated great deals on them. So hope you guys can take that for what it is. Let's get into it. For starters, when do you want to try to make the best deal happen? Always at the end of the month. The last 2 days of the month generally are the best times to try to negotiate the best possible deal. That's when a dealership is trying to earn the best numbers, sales numbers for that month that they can report on. And every time that a month rolls over, likely they add to their flooring cost. The flooring cost is that small interest rate that they pay on each of their inventory within their entire dealership. Say they have a couple hundred vehicles sitting on their lot. Each one of those vehicles is on a line of credit. Kind of like a credit card, that dealership pays a small interest fee every single month that ticks by. So it behooves them to try to rid themselves of the most inventory before the new month ticks over. And going one step further, studies have shown that Wednesdays, late in the afternoon, teetering toward the evening, is the best time. The best day of the week is Wednesday, and the best time of day is late afternoon, teetering into evening. As they're beginning to kind of start looking toward closing, that's when they will offer the best deal possible. If it's early in the morning, well, they know they have all day long to kind of pull you back and forth. And Wednesdays, that's when it's generally slower at most dealerships. And if it happens to fall on the end of the month, last 2 days of the month, that's the golden time. So how do you start? Do you go to your local dealership, go inside, sit down and start working a deal with them in person? Absolutely not. You want to pick up the phone and call a dealership maybe 2 or 3 states away from you on purpose, far away from you, that has the same exact vehicle that you're interested in. Pretend it's a brand new Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro that you're trying to buy. Call the Toyota dealership 2 or 3 states away and say, hey, I'm interested in your Tacoma TRD Pro. I'm a couple states away from you, but if I were to buy a one-way plane ticket to come by, what's the best possible deal that you'd be willing to work for me? Have them draft up that deal in writing and either text it to you or email it to you. A lot of you guys will come up on mic and say, hey, I get a lot of sales reps that are reluctant to email me a draft purchase agreement. I've never bumped into that issue. What I say is, hey, I'm interested in seeing how all the numbers shake out. I want to make sure that there's no additional fees being snuck in. Could you please send it to me? And I've never had a sales rep say no to that. So have them email it to you or text it to you. Don't expect it to be phenomenal, right? Don't expect it to be perfect. This is your starting point. Get it in writing. I want to be clear here, you are always negotiating the out the door price. That is with all their fees included, the taxes being included, what is the best out the door price tag that you can get me for this vehicle. And just to be clear, for those who are unfamiliar with buying a vehicle out of state, you will always pay the sales tax based on your zip code, where you live, where you will be registering the vehicle. So it doesn't matter if I'm buying a car or Tacoma TRD Pro out in California, I'm not paying a San Francisco or a San Diego zip code sales tax rate, if that makes sense. I'm paying it based on where I live. One quick plug here, so many sales reps will be quick to ask you, what do you want your monthly payment to be? Do not fall victim to that. They're going to be quick to ask you that. What do you want your monthly payment to be? They're able to stretch that loan out tremendously, all while sneaking in a bunch of their bogus protection packages, maybe an extended warranty of some sort, all while keeping within your desired monthly price point. Don't fall victim to that. Just negotiate the best possible out the door price tag, and well, your monthly price point, it'll work itself out. Now that you have your first draft purchase agreement or first draft offer in writing, you then use that to your advantage. You will call a dealership equally far away, 2 or 3 states away, but maybe a little bit closer, and then you call that Toyota dealership and say, hey, I'm interested in your Tacoma TRD Pro. I already have this offer from another Toyota dealership just up the road from you. Are you willing to beat it? That's what you're asking them. You're not asking them to match it. Say, are you willing to beat it? You're obviously trying to shop for the best deal possible, and then you can just text them that offer. You can text them a screenshot of it or forward that email to them. Are you willing to beat it? And in my experience, really 9 times out of 10, I honestly can tell you a dealership will beat it. They want to earn your business. They want to beat their competition, and generally they will beat it, maybe by $1,000 or $500, but they'll beat it. So get that then in writing and say, hey, well, I'll think it over. Appreciate you doing that. And while you're starting to get the hint, each time you pick up the phone, you're calling a dealership, a Toyota dealership in this example, closer and closer to where you live. Every time you pick up that phone, you're asking them to beat that previous offer that you have. And it won't always work, all right? But more often than not, like I said, that dealership will try to earn your business, and they're not going to let $500 be a make or break for selling their vehicle. Okay, so ask them to beat it and work your way to your backyard. The hope is after you've called maybe 7, 8, 9 different dealerships, the hope is that you've gotten that price point down to a number that you're pretty happy with. And then that is when you can go into your local dealerships, the ones just up the road from where you actually live. Say, hey, I've been calling around. This is the best deal that I've found. Here it is in writing. Are you willing to beat this deal if it means trying to buy a vehicle here in my backyard, keeping my business local? I would love to do that. I've only heard great things about your dealership. Would you beat them? And in my experience, they do. And by you reminding them that you're local to them, that's reminding that dealership that you likely will be returning to that dealership for service, to bring that vehicle in for maintenance, and that will then, of course, make that dealership even more money throughout the next 3 to 5 years. Honestly, I find it quite baffling that so many people are afraid to invest just a few hours, maybe just one afternoon of their time to maximize their vehicle purchase. A vehicle purchase is the second largest purchase that most Americans will make in their entire lifetime, obviously only second to their household. So why not just spend a few hours to save thousands? You might be wondering to yourself, how do I do this for a used vehicle purchase? You can absolutely do the same thing. It's just a little bit more difficult, of course, because unlike new vehicles, there's a lot less similar examples that are comparing apples to apples. Every used example is going to be slightly different. The condition of it, of course, the history, how many owners it's had, the mileage is the biggest factor, but try to find one with similar condition and similar miles, at least close, within a few thousand miles of each other, and use that as your benchmark. Call that dealership, get their best deal possible before you call the one closer to you that you're actually targeting. Call around to a few other similar examples and get their best deal possible and see if they can beat it. What if you happen to have a trade-in? How do you treat that? What I suggest is find your nearest CarMax. Go there first. Use this as your benchmark as you begin negotiating a trade-in value for your vehicle. When you go to your CarMax, get that purchase offer, that's what you're asking them for. How much are they willing to buy your vehicle for? That way, when you call that first dealership and say, hey, what's the best deal you can offer me on that Tacoma TRD Pro? I have a trade-in. Give them a couple dozen photos of your trade-in. Obviously, the newer your vehicle is with the lower miles, it's easier to get a sight unseen trade-in offer or a sight unseen appraisal from a dealership. But if you have a CarMax offer, what is that telling that dealership? It's telling them that CarMax has already had eyes on your vehicle. Even after seeing your vehicle, CarMax has offered you this much money for it. So they can give you a maybe even better trade-in value for that vehicle with higher level of confidence, if that makes sense. So CarMax, step one. And you're doing the same thing. As you're calling each dealership, getting closer and closer to where you live, you say, hey, I do have a trade-in. The best trade-in value from the previous dealership was this. If you're willing to try to do a little bit better on my trade-in or match the trade-in while doing a better sale price of the vehicle, that's you still inching closer and closer to the best deal possible. Obviously, that CarMax purchase offer is going to be the biggest contributor to you getting the best trade-in value from a dealership. There's value in trading in your vehicle, of course, when buying a new one, because there's that tax credit. There's tax savings when you buy a vehicle, in most states anyway. Pretend you're buying a $50,000 vehicle and your trade-in is worth $30,000. Instead of you paying taxes on the full $50,000, you will generally just pay the taxes on the $20,000 difference. That's in most states anyway, okay? So use that CarMax as your benchmark, but also be very honest and transparent with that dealership. Send them a couple dozen photos of your trade-in, interior, exterior. Be honest about any kind of blemishes that it has. If it has a chip, crack in the windshield, be honest and tell that to the dealership. It'll save you a lot of heartache if you're planning to make the long trip and drive to trade in that vehicle. If you're driving a state away to make it happen, well, you don't want any surprises when you get there. Nor does the dealership, right? So be very honest, be transparent in that entire process. And whenever you call any dealership, they're going to ask you two questions right from the get-go. The first one being, are you planning to finance or are you paying cash? Right? That's always kind of the first question. The second question being, do you have a trade-in? If you have a trade-in, of course, the answer is yes, I do have a trade-in. I've been working with other dealerships to try to maximize that trade-in value. Let them know you have trade-in offers and purchase offers from CarMax. Do let them know that right from the beginning. But the financing question, I suggest holding your cards close. And what I mean by that is use it as your final bargaining chip. Every dealership, whenever you finance through them, they get a kickback, a monetary kickback from their preferred lenders that they go through. Whether it's the preferred credit unions that they generally work through, they will get a monetary kickback of $500, maybe up to $1,200, $1,500, depending on the loan amount and duration. They can get some money back. So use it as your final bargaining chip. When you finally get to that price point that you're very happy with, say, I'll tell you what, if you're willing to drop it another $1,000, I'd be willing to finance through you guys and make the deal happen today. Use it as your final bargaining chip. And in my experience, if it means making the deal happen and they still get that kickback from that financing institution, they're going to make it happen. Planning to finance all along, I encourage you to equip yourself with a pre-qual or pre-approval from your local credit union. Generally speaking, your local credit union will do better than most when it comes to that APR, the interest rate offered for your vehicle purchase. So come prepared with that hip pocket. That way, you can tell the dealership as you make that final negotiation plea, saying, hey, if you take another $1,000 off, I'll finance through you guys. However, just know I am pre-qualified with my local credit union at 4.5% right now. You're telling that dealership and you're showing them, hey, 4.5% is what I'm pre-qualified at. You're telling them they need to be very, very close to that, either a little bit better or at least on par with that interest rate if it means actually making the deal through the dealership, the financing anyway, right? So that way you're not giving them any opportunity to take advantage of you with that interest rate, because dealerships do that all the time. All the time, they'll get a buy rate from the lending institution of maybe 4.5%, for your loan with your credit in mind, your application submitted, 4.5% approval. That's the buy rate the dealership got. They'll then try to have a sell rate. They'll sell it to you at maybe 6.5%, upticking it 2 full percent. That increases the dealership's profit margin on that vehicle, of course, right? So you're limiting their ability to do that. You're tying the dealership's hands if you come with your own pre-qual. I'll leave you with this. I encourage most people to not fall victim to buying the wildly inflated price tags of their bogus protection packages that dealerships offer. They're wildly overpriced, okay? The extended warranties that they offer, they too are inflated in price. If you're pretty committed to buying an extended warranty or a protection package, just know that they are hugely negotiable. You can bring them down probably 80 or 90% from the price tag that they're trying to offer you. They'll try to sell it to you as, hey, it's only increasing your monthly payment by $7 a month or $12 a month. They'll say stuff like that. But focus on the bottom line. How much is that package costing you? And negotiate that down tremendously if you're committed to buying it anyway. Don't let the finance rep trick you into believing that you need to buy a protection plan or an extended warranty in order to lower your interest rate. It goes back to the whole buy rate versus sell rate, right? They already bought and have an approval for your auto loan at a certain rate. Like that 4.5%, that's what you're approved at. And if they're trying to sell it to you at 6.5%, walk away for starters. But if they're trying to do that, but they offer, hey, if you buy an extended warranty, we'll drop it down to 5.5%. Don't fall victim to that. They can't do that. It's actually illegal. That's the video there, guys. Do not walk into a dealership until you feel great about the deal that you've already lined up in writing, over the phone, via email, in advance. Don't step foot in there. Do not let them waste your time, and do not let them trick you into believing that that vehicle you're interested in is a hot commodity and you're not gonna be able to get it. You gotta capitalize on the deal today. Don't let them trick you. It truly is a buyer's market. And in fact, if you were to walk away from a deal, there's a really good chance that you're gonna get an even better deal on that same vehicle from that same dealership, maybe a day or two later, because they'll be blowing up your phone the second you walk away from it. Know what your thoughts are. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune into these videos. Let me know if you've deployed any of these tactics and tools before and if they worked out for you. I truly believe that they will save you thousands if you just invest the time. Thanks for watching as always. If you appreciate this type of content whatsoever, I do respectfully request that you please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a ton, and I promise you it doesn't go unnoticed. Till next time.